Hey, everybody. It's that time of the week where we talk about our weekly thoughts for this week, and I've got a couple thoughts I'd like to share with everyone. Um, so there's a couple concepts I want to talk about. So the number one concept is self-reflection, and one of the best exercises that you can engage in for your life, for your business, for everything else, is to reflect on your life, on the things in your life. Um, what do you need work on? What's happening? What's good? Where do you need to maybe readjust some goals? Where have you where have you done well? Where have things looked like you're making some progress? We talked about in the very beginnings when you guys joined our program. We talked about setting goals and writing down what may be some of the obstacles that could be getting in your way. And I believe the language that I used then was, who do you need to become in order to overcome those obstacles and reach the goals that you want? And the reason I use that language is many times it's not just a technique, or it's not just a apply yourself harder, work harder, whatever. It's actually growth that has to happen within you, within your personality, within your um, knowledge that you gain and wisdom that you gain as you go along. So it's much more than just, let me just work hard. Let me just keep pounding my head against the wall, and eventually we're going to break through. There's growth that happens, and it's really important. So let me ask you this. We set those goals, or most of you did, back when you first started. So some of you have been on board for a matter of hours, and some of you have been on board for over a year. So in that period of time, how have you done on those goals? Think back a little bit. Look at where you are now in terms of the goals that you set. Now, let me ask you this. As you look at your goals and you look at where you are now, you reflect on where you are at this point. Are you happy about it? Are you frustrated? Um, are you angry with yourself, disappointed? Those kind of emotions come to mind. For many people, they do. You may have set a goal and you haven't hit that goal yet, and that's frustrating to you. You might not be where you want to be, and that's okay. But instead of getting all frustrated about it, what if we looked at where we are right now, but we go back in time to when you set those goals, whenever you started with our group, or whenever you wrote down goals, that you are looking to accomplish. So you go from where those started, where you were, and all the situations in your life reflected on the goals that you wrote, and then where are you now? Look at that difference. I spoke several weeks ago about the book The Gap and the Gain, and that's what that book is all about. Is when we look at ourselves, we measure backwards to where we started. We don't necessarily measure where we got to, but we didn't quite make it to our ultimate goal. We got part of the way there, but many times people will say, I didn't make it, so I failed, so I didn't do well, I whatever, and they get disappointed, like I said, and frustrated and everything else. But if you take where you've come to, where you are now, and you look back at where you started, and you look at all the growth that has happened in that period of time, what do you see if that's what you focus on? All right. Have you made improvements? Have you grown? Have you do you have a different outlook now, maybe on some things than you did back then? Um, if you have grown and you have some positive experience in that comparison between where you started and where you are now, we'll celebrate that. That's a win. That's an accomplishment. That is positive steps on the road to getting where you want to go, and that's super important. You know, be proud of that positive forward movement that you've made. And then, probably the most important thing is be grateful. Be grateful for where you have gotten to, from where you were to where you are now. Be grateful for that. Be grateful for the progress that you've made. Be grateful for the struggles that you endured because they strengthened you along the way. Be thankful for the change in your life's trajectory. Okay? Very small differences, very small moves over time could create a whole different trajectory of your life. Be grateful for those small moves and those small course corrections that you've made along the way. Very, very important. Now, sadly, there's people in the world that just, they don't seem to be content unless they have something to complain about. Now, I know people like that, and I'm sure you do as well. There's people like that all over the world. Okay. In my opinion, it's a terrible way to live. When you reflect on your life, and goals are one part of it, but let's just look at the totality of your life. When you reflect on that, no matter what the circumstances are, there are things there to be grateful about. There absolutely is, 100% of the time. You might be going through a rough time. You might be having troubles. You may be having health troubles. You may be having relationship troubles. You may be having financial troubles. But mixed in all that, there are things there to be grateful for. And instead of focusing on all the bad stuff, because the bad stuff is going to happen and it's going to work its way out, and we're going to reflect, and we're going to set goals, and we're going to move in a direction, and we try to take care of these things. But at the same time, there's things going on in your life every single day that you can be grateful for. And to reflect on those things and to be grateful for them is, I don't think there's enough things I could say that are positive. Think about this. If you are constantly complaining and looking at where you missed the mark, or where things are not right or not as good as you want them to be, or the troubles in your life, what happens? Physiologically, your cortisol goes up, which is your stress hormone. Your blood pressure goes up. Nobody wants to be around you. You know, you're grumpy and grumbly and short with people, you know, you're not doing your body, your health any good. Conversely, if you remember the things in your life that are blessings that you're happy about, and we're not talking about this has to be you did some monumental thing. It's just small things in life every day. You know, we got out of bed this morning. We have some measure of health in our bodies. We're learning how to trade in the market, a strategy that can produce consistent returns. Some of you have experienced those returns, and you're getting better every day. You're understanding that. You're learning more about it and how to implement it, and how to tweak it to your own personality, and how to enjoy what you're doing. It's that's just one small sliver of your life. There's all sorts of things. But if you do and you think about those things, your stress will come down, right? You will be happier. The dopamine and endorphins in your body will increase. You'll feel more calm. You'll feel more in charge of your life, more powerful in your life. Your relationships will improve. Your blood pressure will come down. I mean, there's limitless things that benefit you. And even in the Bible, I just want to read this quick little verse here. This is Philippians 4:8. And this is the advice of the Bible. It says, "Finally, brethren, whatever things are true, whatever things are noble, whatever things are just, whatever things are pure, whatever things are lovely, whatever things are of good report, if there is any virtue, and if there is anything praiseworthy, think on these things," or meditate on these things. Chew it around in your mind. That's what meditate means. Meditate means kind of chewing on something, turning it over and over and over in your mind. Think about those things that are praiseworthy and lovely and of good report. There's so many things. You've probably heard there's a phrase called a vicious cycle. Like, you do something wrong and it causes something else, and that causes this problem and that problem, and they just seem to kind of snowball on you. It's called a vicious cycle, right? Well, there's also such thing as called a blessing cycle. And when you begin to live a life of gratitude and you're thankful for the good things in your life, basically you're setting yourself up for more good things to come about in your life. Now, is it actually more good things, or is it just that you're recognizing, you have eyes to see those good things? Maybe a little bit of both. I don't know. But the point is, you get all the benefits physiologically, emotionally, relationally, all the benefits that comes with it just by finding those things to be grateful about every single day. So I want to leave you with that. I think it's an important aspect of life. And I'll just throw that out there to you. I hope you all have a great rest of the week, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.